Oops, I did it again. Another classic Charles move. Opened up a live stream to the wrong people this morning. Opened up a private stream. So here we are. I'm a couple minutes late, but there's not much to report here this morning. Today is Wednesday, October 13th, and my name is Charles. So basically, what are we looking at here? Pretty much the same exact scenario as yesterday, right? If you look at the overnight market and the way that it traded last night, it pretty much traded very, very similarly to yesterday's overnight range, almost in the exact same areas. It brought in all the volume and spent all the time in the same areas, in here and in here. So there's really no new information in that. Yesterday's trade was pretty much just rotational, so you would call that an acceptance of the lower prices here. We did leave behind a poor high that is in need of repair, and we also created a spike down in the M period, which gives us a signal moving forward this morning. So opening above the spike, if it's a spike down like this, opening above it is the least bearish situation. So it's spiking down is always bearish. So I wouldn't call it bullish that we're opening above the spike. It is just the least bearish of all the scenarios there. We are opening inside the previous day's range and inside the previous day's value area where a lot of the trade took place. So I do expect we're going to get some chop this morning, some grind up and down. As always, when I get that grind, I know I want to stay away. I don't want to try to take trades first thing in the morning while the market is just bouncing around and I have no idea where it's going to go. So as always, I look for levels on the chart that are sort of my deal or no deal levels. If it gets to this level and it keeps going, that sends me a message. For me this morning, that is the high of yesterday because it is a poor high. Okay, it is in need of repair. So it would make sense for the market to trade up to that level just to repair it. That doesn't mean the market is bullish and looking to go higher. So when we get up to that level, that's where I watch to see what does the market do there. Does it push above that level and then come back down and find support in here? If it does that, I'll be happy to go long with it as a continuation of the upward trend that we'll be creating at that point. I guess you wouldn't really call it a trend, but you'd be essentially the breakout of the downtrend would be a better way to describe it. Okay. But if it gets up to that level, it pushes above, it repairs that poor high, and then it pulls right back down into the range, I would short that for a continuation lower. Okay. Because that means we're not trying to break out. We're just trying to repair that poor high that's in need of repair. So there's, some important information in that. Which direction do we go once we repair the poor high? Same thing with the lows. I'm going to call it basically, I don't have a specific level, but pretty much the spike from yesterday. So this area where we spent all this time and brought in all this volume overnight, both nights in a row, time and volume in this area, and it was the spike of yesterday. So I don't have an exact level here, but if the market trades down, gets below this exact same as up here, if we get resistance, I'll go short for continuation lower. If we push through and then come right back up in, I'll go long for continuation higher. Okay, but anywhere in the middle, I'll just let the market grind around and I won't try to guess where it's going. All right, the market is open. Please smash that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Join the party. Now that I'm sitting here looking at it, I also think we might have some potential support in this area right here around that 44 level, due to the fact that it's kind of where the volume is fading on both the two overnight sessions and in the regular trading hours yesterday. So maybe some potential support here at 43, 44.50. It's not a trade that I would take, but if that broke, there could be a trade lower from there, looking for the next major support, which is in that spike. I'm not going to get into that trade because it's still part of morning chop as far as I'm concerned, but it is worth noting there. Good morning, RK Leon. Welcome to you. David Glass is with us. Good morning. Welcome to the Brigade. We're happy to have you. Nicholas, good morning to you. Abdu, good morning to you. Welcome. Philip is here. Good to see you. Vincent, good morning. Jose, good to see you. David V, good morning to you. Bob is here. Good to see you. And Jay, welcome. 85 people watching, 40 likes. Let's get those likes up so we can get those people here. We can get those humans in the room. Humans in the room. Humans in the room. Yeah. River Rock, good morning to you. Good morning. All right, well, slow morning here with the chop giving us a perfect bell-shaped curve so far this morning. Stepping back for a second just to look at the bigger picture. I would remind everybody that we are in a downtrend. Okay, we've had 3 days in a row of the value area being lower or overlapping to lower. And that is, of course, a sign that the larger trend in the market is still to the downside. Black Cat, good morning to you. Welcome. It's slightly bullish that we made a higher low in the overnight than the previous overnight session, but otherwise that's not really much more to be noted there than just slightly bullish. So if the market is able to trade its way up to repair this poor high today, and it gets up there and it finds support, we could get continuation higher. But to me, it is larger probability that we still have further pullback to go. So we'll wait and see what happens at these levels. Like I said, I'm not against the idea that we've put in a low here and the market's ready to go higher. It just seems the least probable in my mind because of this downtrend that we have. Suffice to say, obviously, this terrible taper at the high will get repaired. We need to push higher. Somebody is piling on with large size at this exact position. So they will get squeezed a little bit. The market will push through and then should get a few ticks higher out of that. Somebody really, really hates that 43.55 level. They're like, fuck you, 55. No, I will only sell you. Good morning, Design Knob. Good to see you. Ronald, welcome. Yeah, DAS 55. DAS that 55 level. Cloud says we are in a C wave upside to 44.80 on the ES. Well, that's quite a push higher. I'm on board. Let's do it. First, we got to get above yesterday's high, bring in some support. So I'm not going to get into a trade until I see that, but I'm down. Jitten, are they selling 55 or what? Yeah. Like I said, it'll break. You're not going to be able to hold that up as a high. I missed your question at the time you asked it, Miles. Was it weak or poor because it was an overnight high? Yeah, I didn't even notice that it was exactly at the overnight high. Normally, I don't overthink that, but yeah, I would have called that a poor high. Just the random note of volume alone was a reason for it to need to get a push through. Highs generally require good taper. So you can kind of like ignore this red part. You see how the price is just slowly falling off above it? 10,900, 800, 500, 300, 200, 113. That's like perfect taper. So this you really rarely are ever going to get something like that. Okay, the chop continues. Oh boy, Design Knob. African swine fever virus is a pandemic in pigs now, spreading like crazy. Get in your lean hog futures. Yeah, I don't think through my broker I even have a way to trade hog futures. All right, well, the internals opened in a slightly bearish, sorry, slightly bullish sort of scenario. 3 of the 4 here were above their zero line. The breadth was right on top of it. So now they're kind of working their way back down towards the zero line, so we can see how the market reacts when it gets there. Do buyers start to step in? Also, there is this level right here where the volume kind of fades off on the 2 overnights and yesterday's range. You can kind of see that. Again, that should act as support. If it fails, we're likely to need to pull down lower to get into this node down here inside the spike. That was a massive sell. I think it might be a little bit intimidating just because, yeah, it was big. 9,000 contracts first thing in the morning is pretty big. But it might just be intimidating because it's such a big red candle. But you got to remember that's just comparing to all the other levels. The market's only been open for 15 minutes. So once the day is done more chop and grinding up around in here, that won't stand out quite as much. But certainly is interesting that somebody piled on so quick this morning. Didn't think they were going to get any chances to get in at higher prices. So the real tell if we're going to go further down is how we react to this area where the spike is. Just below us in here. Lots of time and volume in the overnight was traded in this area. So when they get down into here, they should find support to start rotating back up. If not, if they break below, come back up and find resistance. There's your entry for a short for continuation lower. Well, Charles, why not just get in that short right now? If it seems like the downside is the highest probability due to the larger trend in the market, why not just get short up here and then watch as the market trades down? If it gets below, comes back up and finds resistance, you can just add to your position there, right? Why miss out on this bit of the move right here? Well, the answer is the uncertainty, right? There's no reason why this market can't instantly find support right here and then start trading higher, right? There's no clear signal to me that the market is going to go down. It seems like the highest probability, but it's not like clear. I'm not certain in that. So I like to wait until I have more certainty, and I'm happy to give up the loss from here to here to re-enter on resistance in here, right? I don't mind missing out on this for the higher probability that I'm right in this. Mediterra saying holding 46 would be good. Looks like we're fighting for that level right now. Don't know if we're going to be able to save it. Design knob, you could go short here with your stop above the POC. Yeah, I mean, I would say above the entry price a few ticks. I'd put it up there. But yeah, you could. You would just be, it's just what's the probability of you being right? That's hard to measure there. So if I lost, if I went short here and then put my stop here, and then the market turned around, found support, and went right back up to here and filled my stop, I'd be stuck saying to myself, why the fuck did I get in that trade? Like I just gave money to the market. I had no certainty. So that's just not my style. But I hear you. Shubaho Deep, good to see you. Welcome. Okay, so now we're looking for support inside this spike here. And then we're watching what happens when it finds it. So like, let's say right here at about 4335, it finds some support and it starts pushing higher, right? Where does it find resistance? You know, does it push back up to right here and find resistance right here? Or does it have to come all the way up to here? If it does come back up to here, is it able to get above its halfback? If not, if you bounce off of here and you find resistance here, you could short that for continuation as well. David, could you consider the overnight POC as a possible magnet? Not the fact that it's the POC, but the volume in there is kind of like, that's a place where the market should find support or resistance. But not the fact that it was the overnight POC, no. All right, so here it looks like it's starting to find some support. So now the question becomes, does it just push right back up into this, value area and continue towards the halfback, or does it meet resistance here at the base of the spike down from yesterday? That would be more bearish. Yeah, sorry, man. Somebody's got their dog in the backyard barking like crazy this morning. Design knob. I listened to your hypnosis last night, Charles. If I don't make a huge profit today, I'm coming for you. Well, you got to listen to it for a couple weeks. But trust me, it's real. The shit is not a lie. You'll listen to it every night before you go to bed for like 2 weeks. And then you'll be sitting there at your computer and you'll randomly say something to yourself. Like, I always choose a stop at the most strategic location to exit my trade. Like, you'll just find yourself thinking that thought as if it's your idea, as if it's your original thought. All right, well, that is bearish. The fact that we found resistance right at the base of the spike down from yesterday. So that's got me with that bearish feeling. Whoa, that bearish feeling. Brett Power. Is that something for your members? No, the hypnosis video. If you just click on the homepage for Pirate Traders on YouTube, you'll see it there under trading psychology. So a couple of minutes ago, I posted the spot gamma report was pretty bearish. Should have said extremely bearish. Well, if it's extremely bearish, this is how the day would start, right? You got a larger downtrend in the market. You got value overlapping to lower. You pushed back down into the spike and then found resistance at the base of the spike. Your internals, which started bullish, are now trending down. So, yeah. If you were going to have a bearish day, this is how it would start. Okay, so will this area act as resistance once again? I'm going to stay bearish down here, even if we push up to the halfback, because if we don't find resistance here, we could still find it up there. Mr. Gronks, what is halfback? Halfback is this white line right here, currently at 43.44, which is basically 50% of the day's range so far. And that's a commonplace. If the market retraces, it retraces to that 50% level, and then it continues lower. But it looks like we don't need to head up there. It looks like we found the resistance we were looking for right at the base of that spike. Of course, if the B period starts to trade below the A period here, then we are also one time framing lower, which is another bearish signal. Yeah, I mean, looking at that 55 level now, boy, they look like geniuses, don't they? I mean, now they look like they pretty much sold the high of the day. All right, we got 108 people here, but only 60 likes. Remember, guys, the way you support the channel, if you don't have any shekels to share, is to just push that thumbs up button. It costs you nothing, but it really does help me out. So if you find any help in what I'm saying to you, you can pay it back by pushing that thumbs up. Jonathan, good day. Yeah, let's jump over and take a look at NQ. Well, the NQ looks a lot more bullish than the ES. It's trading very similarly in terms of the way it's moving, but they've got value overlapping to higher at the moment, whereas on the ES it's overlapping to lower. And they've got very strong 45-degree angle in the low. So when you get from the low of the overnight, when you get a 45-degree angle up like this, I mean, this is almost like a textbook example of it. That tends to act as very, very strong support when the market, the regular trading hours, trades down into it. You'll see this over and over again, that a good 45 degree, it has to start from the low like this one. But a good 45-degree angle like that is often a sign of buyers stepping in there. So that's interesting to see. As far as next stop being, where was that? 14,890. Oh, you think you're going to get a push up from here? Could be. That certainly looks better than the ES. Okay, the ES created a poor low here in the B period. We normally get a push away from the poor low, so that's to be expected. But it does increase the odds that the market will come back and repair it at some point today. Or at some point in the future, I should say. Whoa. Sanju, thank you for your support, brother. River Rock, 83 likes. We did it. We did it, guys. We got them up there. Thank you so much. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. Bryce, thank you so much. River Rock, now I can stay all day. No, I didn't make that deal ahead of time. Nice try, though. You know, River Rock, for just $10, you could stick with me for the rest of the day. And not just today, every day. Mediterra saying he suspects we test those global X lows, those overnight lows, and then head to 43.05 if they fail. Hmm. Okay, there's the repair of the poor low. We are now one time framing lower. We also just pulled the value area slightly lower. All of this is bearish. So the next support that I see is right above that overnight low, the base of the I period single prints from 10.6, which is right at 43.1975. That is the next support for the market. Debeep, do I monitor cumulative delta? I do not. I have had many people mention to me I should, but it's not something on my radar. Arthur, good morning to you. All right, well, it doesn't look like that base of the spike is holding here. So monitoring for continuation to the downside. Also looks like the NQ is heading down to its 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. You might get a little bounce right there. Excuse me, right there. But obviously, still a very clear downtrend intact. Matt Fusco, your tick count is similar to the delta. Yeah, I think so. I remember looking it up and seeing it's basically the same thing as the ticks. The ticks are just showing the underlying stocks as opposed to the delta, which is the options. But it's all just a measurement of sentiment. Sanju, happy to help, brother. Erman, plane crash noises. Crash. Oh, that's great. Well, Malcolm, being that we are into statistics here and probabilities, skydiving is actually pretty safe. Now, cliff jumping, don't fuck with that. Those people die on the regular, but skydiving's fine. Oh, yeah, well, I didn't get that it was a joke, so I answered it as if it was a real thing. So now you need to actually really go get in a plane and jump out. Cotton Dog, I think, and answer me in the chat if I'm wrong about this, because I honestly have no clue what I'm talking about. But I think cumulative delta is measuring the options market. It might be the options on the futures, but it's not the same as the ticks, which are the underlying shares at the exchange level. Oh, Arthur's done it twice. Look, he made it. But you're alive, bro. You're alive. R is saying cumulative delta measures active participants. But participating in what? In options or futures? Or options on futures? Ah, there you go. All right, well, they may be putting in a low here. So we got to push back up into resistance and see how they react to the resistance up here. So I'm looking for resistance to start at about 43.31. That bounce came perfectly off the 20 on the Nasdaq. So that is actually suspicious to me that the buyers were just the bots that buy that 20 moving average. So definitely looking for resistance here and a push lower. Mangala is listening to hip hop while he's trading. We were just talking about that yesterday in the private stream. It's fun sometimes to put on like a fast pace, song, gets you pumped up, gets you excited. But when I actually went and pulled up an old playlist that I had for when I used to listen to music trading, it was all like super calm, like mellow, because back then I used to be stressed out all the day while I was trading already. So I needed music to calm me. Now I've gotten to this place where I'm completely relaxed all day. So I need music to pump me up and get me excited. All right, well, there's your first set of resistance, right about 28. The trend remains intact. All right, so market's still pushing up into resistance here. Every time they try to get those ticks above the zero line, they're getting pulled back down. That's a sign of the sellers piling on. Mr. Gitronks, can you provide a 2-minute summary of what we get with your monthly subscription? For example, the live room training. Yeah, so basically what the monthly subscription does is it's the way to think about it is like you're joining a community, right? It gives you access to be part of a group. That's really what it's mostly about, right? It's about being in the Discord, being able to discuss your ideas, being able to talk about trades that you're in or you want to get in and get other people's opinions. And the downside that I found with Discord groups and stuff like that in the trading community is a lot of times they just let anybody in. And so you get a lot of noise. You get a lot of people in there that are just talking just rubbish all day, every day, throwing out unnecessary facts, throwing out random stuff. And so it can be overwhelming when you're like in a Discord group or in a chat room on a live stream like this one. And there's just tons of just pointless stuff, popping up in the chat. So the number one goal and what I think is one of the most successful things about the Brigade is there's something about it that it just kind of weeds those people out. They show up, they do their posting for a few days, but nobody joins in, nobody listens to them, and so then they disappear. So I would say the number one resource for joining the Brigade, which only costs $10 a month, is that you get access to that community. You can share ideas without a bunch of noise. But then as far as like what you get in terms of perks, well, you get the live streams. I do the live streams every day. So it's basically the same thing you're getting right now for the first hour of the day. You just get it for the rest of the day. Speaking of which, switching over in 5 minutes. So you get that live stream for the rest of the day. That's another main thing you get access to. You also get access to coaching, right? Anybody who's a member of the Brigade is entitled to a free 15-minute coaching consultation with me. So you can call me on the phone, we can talk, you can explain to me your personal experience with trading, and I can offer you advice on next steps, how to work your way forward. And then you have unlimited free coaching via email, right? So you can, if you're a member of the Brigade, you can email me anytime, any day, and I'm happy to share my thoughts or advice with you. You also get discounts on merch. So if you wanted to buy like a t-shirt or something like that, discounts on the merch. And then in the future, there'll be more educational content that I don't have any right now, but there'll be educational content that's exclusively available to members of the Brigade. And also I'm going to do more like meetups and things like that. So that will be available for Brigade members only as well. So yeah, the way to think about it is you're paying $10 to join a club. What you get for your $10 is access to the live streams and the conversation in the chat during the live streams. What happened to research guy? Laugh out loud. JTrader? Yeah, I don't know. Those people always do that. You can always tell when the best way to figure it out is they'll join the group and they'll have a company name, not like a person's name as their name. They'll have like, whatever trading, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll do a ton of posts making themselves out to be a genius for the first few days. Oh, I trade all this money and I trade this and I do that. And then no one will respond. No one will fall for it. And 2 days later, they're gone. It's happened so many times since I started. It's hilarious. Ashik, what you get for $10 is amazing. I need to rejoin. Yes, you do, brother. Get back on board. That's the one thing I love about it is you cannot deny that you get $10 worth of value every month. If you get even one single trade idea, you could easily make $10. Batting it down once again as soon as it gets above that zero line. That is a sign of the sellers continuing to pile on here. Cotton Dog? So you think he was a scammer? Well, I'm not referring to any one Is there somebody specifically you guys are thinking of? I'm just talking about it's a general thing that happens over and over again. Preach, Ronald. I agree. So printing the C period right here is going to leave these single prints behind. Okay. There you go. So you got this yellow line that is single prints. So there is a higher probability that those will need to get backfilled, but I would be looking for resistance at the base of those single prints around 43.30 if they do for continuation lower. And if they don't, and the market just starts, continuing to one time frame lower, obviously that's just a sign it's a strong trend. And you want to go with the one time framing. All right, guys. Well, with that, I shall bid you farewell. Thank you all so much. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the questions this morning. I look forward to seeing you all here tomorrow morning. If you're not a member of the Brigade, you can always just click that link in the description. It's only $10. Join the party. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.